G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm going to be pretty quiet for today. I'm also going to chat you through about 40 minutes of a stream of consciousness journaling session. I haven't really bothered to set everything up or put the lights on. This is going to be literally as if you just sat at the desk with me today. And since I'm in a very peaceful, kind of placid mood, very rare for when I'm going to film, usually I'm very overly excitable, but I thought this would be a nice kind of sit down, chat, connect, do some journaling together. So grab all your stuff, feel free to follow along. It's going to be stream of consciousness, so it won't be anything, I won't be teaching anything, and I also won't really, it's not like whatever I say I'll expect anyone to actually replicate in any form or fashion, because it's going to be my own thoughts that I'm bringing out. But I do encourage you to kind of search your own thoughts, and if anything kind of, bounces off an idea that I might be speaking about, just to go with that and kind of get all of your thoughts and your feelings down onto a page today in your journal. I'm actually going to start my timer because I do need to keep this about 40 minutes, just planning out my day today. This is my 40 minutes that I have, so I'm just going to put my timer on. Set timer for 40 minutes. It's like we're doing a page in 10, except it's times 4. I've actually got all my stuff just out by me, so I'm gonna just grab everything that I've got access to. And you know what, before I start, I think I might want to grab a sticker from Collage Club or something, just to start with as a base. I just had my lunch too, so pardon me as I let that settle. TMI, I had a gorgeous poke bowl, which I really enjoyed. Ooh, the eyes might be fun. Let's do some of the eyes. I might take this one and another one from here, the opposite side, maybe this one. And I don't think I'll do a face with both of them. I might do two different faces with one each. I'm not quite sure. Let's put one here and one here. These are from my Collage Club subscription. If you're curious, I forgot what month, but I think it was 2 months ago. I'm not going to bother doing any kind of realistic face. Oh, I did her eye backwards for that one. That's okay. This pen is a Faber Castell CX color pen. I used to get these a lot in Australia. We don't have them here in the States. I got them the last time I was at home. It's just a ballpoint pen that's colored. There's a whole bunch of them as well. I feel like Australians will be familiar with them. If you've got a big W, they usually have a plastic packet of them. I would prefer these over the Bic pens. I used to have these in high school. So right now there aren't too many thoughts in my head. Like I said, I'm pretty peaceful right now and really placid. And in that mode, I'm usually just best watching television, to be honest. Not really working or focusing on anything. My time is best spent vegging on the couch, or sleeping. But it is always fascinating to do these stream of consciousness pages at a time where my brain is less active rather than hyperactive. Just to kind of search the chasms for anything a little bit more interesting and odd that might come out. I feel like doing one line contour for the rest of their face now. There we go. That was a good idea, I think. Speaking of television, last night I watched the Lula Rich documentary, which I found fascinating. I have to say, I think I was expecting a much bigger outcome at the end, and was actually shocked to see that some of the people were still selling. Which, to be fair, as far as wholesale retail goes, it made total sense to me in the beginning, what they were doing. But the major red flags threw up once the word recruitment got thrown around. I'm not sure how familiar people are with multi-level marketing company structures, but it's something that I follow in my spare time. I do like to learn about business a lot. Specifically with multi-level marketing, I'm more just curious about the ethics of being super successful, being one of the people at the top of that structure. And I think watching the documentary, I felt like you could totally see how much of a hard time people were dealing with the realization that there were very negative impacts for a lot of the downline. And I imagine that kind of, pardon me, that guilt weighs heavily on people who saw so much financial success. I try not to place blame because at the same time, you know, everyone entered that business. I guess, you know, people weren't aware of how it would all change, and, you know, how much am I willing to judge someone who saw the success from, you know, what I would term kind of affiliate revenue. You know, I don't know how closely people monitored that and checked back in with their own kind of standards of practice, but I'm not willing to go out on a judgmental tirade today. Maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I was genuinely shocked to see that people were still selling. I do remember once when we went to D23, there was a whole LuLaRoe Disney collection. And I just remember looking at all the prints thinking, oh, that's fun. And I was asking Steve, how, like, where do they sell this stuff? What's this store? I thought it was Lululemon at first, which is a pretty expensive athletics, like, apparel company. And he was like, oh no, it's kind of like Amway or like Mary Kay or Tupperware. Like they have parties, or you buy it through a retailer, like a distributor. And I was like, oh, so you can't actually go to a store and get it? And he goes, no. I always thought that was a little odd. And to do a big partnership with Disney, like, I wonder what that vetting process was like. Anyway, my curiosities are getting the better of me. And now all I can think of is LuLaRoe leggings and patents. So I'm gonna give one of these heads just some patent legs, because we've been talking about it. So my condolences to any of the artists that had their work plagiarized by the art department at LuLaRoe. I know that must not have been a fun battle to fight. I'm not laughing at that, I'm just laughing at the fact that some of those prints were just awful. Did anyone see it? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I know this must be pretty difficult to follow along, but goodness. Kind of fascinating. It was on Amazon Prime Video, or Amazon Video, whatever it's called. The Amazon channel. So I'm going to patent those leggings. Steve's here today. We had a photo shoot yesterday. I don't know if you saw it on, what's it called? Instagram. We had some Instagram stories up. Steve even did a little live session. Thank you to those of you who joined. It was very impromptu. He wants to do it again, where we do the live streaming. In fact, now I'm thinking of an iPad on a stand. Because when we did live streaming event at the Sojourner open house, I'm going to put the Sojourner logo there. There you go. Rowena had a big iPad on a stand that I used to laugh at because I thought it was following me everywhere. Everywhere I turned around, Rowena had set it up in a new position, and I was like, oh, there it is. And I kept forgetting that we were live, which obviously I had to curb some of my conversation. I didn't want anyone to know what I was talking about secretly. Anyway, back to Steve. He wants to do that photo shoot live a bit longer and then announce when it's going to happen, which I think will be fun. Because it was interesting just to be able to show kind of how it works and what goes on. I am endlessly fascinated by behind the scenes of almost everything. I used to watch a YouTube channel called How It's Made. I'm sure you've come across one of their videos at some point in time. But it's like factory processes, and it goes through how all this stuff is made. And I could just watch it for hours and hours and hours. So like I said, my brain is a little off. It's a little calm. And so when I have not got specific thoughts in my head, or emotions, or words, or memories, pardon me, I just tend to go with a direction or a motivation. So I see my water brush and I see my paints here, and I think, oh, I might like to have a little bit of a paint. So I'm going to go into my paints and just play with those. And to me, it doesn't really matter where I put them. It's the motivation of this is what my hands want to do next. And that's not a fully formed thought either. I hope I'm not doesn't make sense. I hope I'm not accidentally making you think that your head should be telling you, like, in the next 2 minutes, you must pick up a paintbrush. My head doesn't say that to me. I just get the urge to pick something up. And it's mostly when I've got like all these supplies just kind of hanging about my desk. I'm mostly going to end up playing with anything that's at arm's reach, that's right at my desk. Because I'm usually too busy mining my thoughts and getting them down quickly to go around the studio and make all the decisions about what supplies I want to use. By the time I make a decision about what color and what brand and what size, the thought might have gone away. So I don't preference picking up certain supplies. It's usually whatever is handy and whatever I have a motivation to grab. And I could really quickly exhaust my desire to keep using this water brush, or I could end up using it for the next 15 minutes because I'm enjoying it so much. In fact, I really love pulling out the blue ink from my Lamy Joy. The ink itself is a Pelikan, look how dusty this is, Pelikan 4001 in royal blue. And it's water reactive. So wherever I use my Lamy Joy fountain pen, I can pull out that ink. So I'm going to go around the whole head and make a bit of a blue shadow just around the edge. And that's just because I just like watching the ink flow into the water. So that's kind of my motivation. But it's not like I sit there and I think about like, oh, what do I want to experience next? It truly is just, oh, pick that up. Or I'm sick of doing this now. I'm not even sick of it, but like I want to try something else now. Or what about, maybe I'll do a pattern somewhere. And I could have a few of those thoughts happening at the same time. Like when I said I want to do a pattern somewhere, I thought, well, actually, yeah, I want to do a pattern, but I want to still keep using this. So why don't I do that with my pattern? I'm going to do a checkerboard pattern. And I don't need to make it fit anywhere. Like it's not got to take up a certain amount of space. I'll just keep going for however much I feel like going for. And this is where that whole stream of consciousness gets a very wonky, mismatched aesthetic. Is because there's not any care or concern placed on anything really. Composition, color choice, medium choice. It's all just intuitive. And you don't have to switch up everything. You don't have to use 600 different colors. Maybe your intuition is a little bit more refined than mine, a little bit more selective, just naturally. We're all naturally different people. I like to pick up all the different colors and all the different supplies, but you only want to pick up 2 or 3 different colors and keep a consistent color palette. That's completely fine. The whole purpose is to engage my brain with my hands and document on this page kind of the current state of my thoughts, my imagination, my feelings. And however I choose to do that will be correct, as long as I keep doing it. Whatever it is. Some of it's just really not to be thought too hard about. Like, why did he put those lines there? Well, I just picked up this mild liner. That's why. And I like this chisel tip because it gives me a really even, wide line. And I just like drawing with it. I don't know what that's going to be. Why does this only have legs and this one has a neck? No idea. It just is. And I like this pencil, so I'm going to give this pencil a bit of shading. It doesn't really look like much. The more you add and the more you layer, the more it starts to look like something. Ooh, the fire engines are out today. I'm gonna put red lights on this one for the fire engines. And I don't mind overlapping things as well. And then I think I'll take a red pencil and do some shading around those lights. The layering effect is really fun. If I have lots of cross sections, I might even just start to color those things in differently. For example, see how this pink face line comes right through the blue lights? I might color in, sorry, the red lights. I might color those in different colors. All the things that I've accidentally sectioned off. And that just becomes its own thing. Maybe I won't go over the top of the iPad stand there. And I won't go over the ear. The rules change as I go along. And I like that, because it keeps my mind kind of slightly busy. And in the most simplest form of problem solving. And I don't like being too rigid with so many of the rules. Like, if I were doing a real, quote-unquote real illustration, you know, I might not make this light different to all the rest, and why would I go over the face here but under the face here? Like, I would probably try to keep more of those things consistent. Like this one, I'm not really going to shade it, I'm just going to draw a big red box around it, because I don't want it all to be the same. For some reason, that's just not what I'm feeling right now. I don't know if it's because I'm recording it and I want to show you the difference, but that could be it. It could be teacher brain. Demo brain can be really different to my camera's off, no one's watching brain. So maybe that's what I'll put here as my words. The camera is on. Because that does make a difference. The camera. So we had a great time yesterday at the photo shoot at Steve's studio. We did some virtual voyage photos, and then the ones that we actually went live for are just with some personal photos for Steve, like his own fun time, happy time photography work. And he did a kind of 60s Brigitte Bardot inspired look, which was super pretty. I had a lot of fun. Stella was there, a good Judy Stella. You'll know Stella from lots of the times we ever have our makeup done. And if you are part of Memory to Memento, you remember Stella and I went to Japan together to do that travel journal. So Stella's been around for a long time. Chelsea, I don't know if you've ever seen Chelsea before, but Chelsea also, actually, fun fact, everyone at that shoot, bar me, worked together at Disneyland with Steve. So they were all a part of the same show together. Kaylee, our model, Stella, Chelsea, and Steve were all a part of the same show. So it was kind of funny being there yesterday and having everyone, you know, from one specific place where they all knew each other doing, you know, entertainment, to then being in this setting where we're doing a photo shoot together in a studio that Steve has. Like, it's just, it's so funny to think back on the few years ago when everyone met and where everyone's at now. with all different career paths and experiences, all older and wiser. But I know that they all share that special connection, and it's just really nice to be in a new space all these years later. I tried to think about all of the friendships I've had over the years when I was a dancer, and how hard it was because everyone was from all different countries, and that if we were to come back and somehow end up working together on the same photo shoot, if I had, you know, this certain friend doing makeup and this my other friend was the model and the other friend was the hair artist, and then Steve was there doing the photography, like, it would be really, really overwhelming for me too. I think I'd probably cry. I tend to get very sentimental. So that was just an interesting experience that was kind of nice to witness. And I'm glad they could all have that. So now I get this feeling to fill in sections, because I don't want to see the white in all these sections. And I got these brush markers from an Art Snacks box, the Lyra Aqua Brush Duo, and I really enjoy these. They're just like Tombos, but I feel like the tip is probably a better quality than the Tombos. Don't quote me on that. It could absolutely not be, and maybe I'm just excited to use something new. I might color in a few of these. Yellow and blue makes me think of bananas in pajamas, so now I think I want to do a striped banana. I feel like I have a connection to bananas in pajamas because I don't know if they're twins, but I'm a twin, and we always used to wear matching clothes, and my brother Caleb was born first, so it would be Caleb the First, James the Second, and they were B1 and B2. And do Americans know bananas in pajamas? Are they Australian in America? I have so many questions about this all of a sudden. In any case, I used to watch Bananas in Pajamas all the time. I absolutely loved them. So I'm just going to write B1, B2. I used to watch Bananas in Pajamas and Thomas the Tank Engine, which is why my favorite color is red and my favorite number is 5, because I just straight up stole that from James the Tank Engine, and he was red and his number was 5. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1? That just popped into my head too. I gotta write that down, that's funny. It's actually kind of relevant, I guess, if any of my thoughts are leaking their way into your stream of consciousness, you are thinking what I'm thinking. Are you thinking? You can be my B1. That's good. I feel like picking up the paints again. Just changing the color this time, maybe a turquoise. A nice turquoise color over here. Maybe I want to paint some more of those checkerboards. Actually, in Virtual Voyage 2 in Burtonville, I painted a checkerboard pattern, and I absolutely loved the result. So I'm going to do that again. I just changed up the size of the squares as I went along. I didn't measure anything out. Sounds like I'm getting sick. I hope I'm not getting sick. I don't feel sick. I just feel like my voice is pretty worn out. To my knowledge, I wasn't screaming yesterday. I could be wrong though. I could have been overexcited and screaming about something. I'm also just very relaxed, so it could be like half sleep voice. I've still got that thought about demo brain, teacher brain in my head. So I'm going to do that here. Because that's where my brain is. Demo brain. And do you know what just popped into my head? Zumba. I'm going to Zumba this afternoon, so I've got to put my Zumba stars on. My green Zumba stars. And look, my Zumba pen is here too. I've been using my stars from Collage Club, and it's so unfortunate that I got sick last week. Was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week. Because I had planned to try and go to 20 classes this month, but that really leaves me with 0 room for error. And unfortunately I couldn't go when I was sick. And then Steve got sick, so I had to take care of Steve, so I kind of missed that a little bit as well. And I couldn't go yesterday because of my photo shoot went until nighttime. So unfortunately I don't think I'll be getting 20 stars this month, but it's okay. I'm not going to let that make me feel like I shouldn't keep putting the effort in, because I do enjoy the effort. Slow results, but I'm making peace with that. I think the slower results are probably the more healthy for me. I tend to get pretty gung-ho, and I can do pretty drastic crash course diets, and they just don't seem to have the sticking power, because it's not much of a lifestyle shift. It's just I managed to, focus on something for 1 to 2 months. And anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole because that's still very much in process, but I'm excited to go to Zumba this afternoon. I love going. The other day I pushed myself so hard I thought I was going to faint, which was just a really nice feeling. I know that sounds scary, but I used to do that a lot when I was a dancer. Like you give it everything you've got, you start seeing stars, you get a little dizzy. It's nice. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do that. This one's going to be me dancing, seeing stars, and getting dizzy. I'm getting a little fussy, so I'm going to make these stars a little bit more scribbly, because I don't want to be fussy. Steve's currently on the phone having an interview. His voice just got a lot louder, so I'm hoping he's okay. We don't have to go back in and remind him that he's okay. I know he was a little nervous to do the interview, which is normal. I think it's always different when, it's different to be interviewed on things that you're like super confident talking about because you've learnt about them and their hobbies or it's work or something, but the interview he's having is like a little bit more personal about himself, and I feel like that's probably one of the more difficult topics to talk about. Can feel very vulnerable in that space. Anybody can, but I do know that Steve definitely feels vulnerable talking about himself in that capacity. I was going to do something with this. Oh, this pen's here. I do love this, and I think this is the first time I'm using black on the page, so it's probably going to stand out a bit. I think I'll go around the page and add black everywhere to it, because I'm just feeling bold. And nothing says boldness like a strong black brushstroke line over everything. I'm curious to see over time, as I do more of these stream of consciousness pages like this, if a style develops, because since it's not on the forefront of my mind, I wonder if subconsciously all of my preferences have just kind of solidified themselves back there in my imagination or in my creative consciousness, and I wonder if that just keeps coming out anyway, whether I'm thinking about it or not. I feel like it would, but I haven't done it long enough to really know. So I'm going in with a black brushstroke line everywhere I feel like it. And I feel like giving this big frilly collar. There's some in the eye as well. I feel like I need lashes or something. Maybe a set of bottom row lashes. Stick that sticker down. Oh, actually, I have this really great pen. I've been taking my Sky Bambi washi roll out as a pencil case. Isn't it pretty? I got that as an extra add-on when I bought my Sky Bambi companion. But I've just been using the washi roll as like a travel pencil case whilst I'm not taking my companion anywhere. I have taken it out a few times. Still have too much in there, I think, actually. Giving it little dots on the end of the eyelashes because my Virtual Voyage 5 makes me think of Yzma every time I do eyelashes now. And she's got two eyelashes pointing the same way, which is interesting. I've never done that before. Maybe it'll be my new thing, who knows. I'm going to put the G swirl back on their chins, just a bit of a throwback to the JLB creative of old. I want this standing on something. There we go. The black gets pretty bold. It's going to be a pipe or a stand or something. It's going to disappear behind. Again, the reason I do that is mostly because I just like to layer everything. And then whenever I get into somewhere where there's more space, whatever I'm drawing, I can just get bigger as I draw it. I do sometimes just get the urge to scribble over everything as well. I don't know, and I don't know if it's worth it to fight that urge or not, because I don't know if that's just like a part of me that feels being spontaneously destructive. That's so bad to say that out loud. But I don't know why I want to I just want to scribble over it. I think I will. I think I'm just going to scribble over it like this. It's like a big mustache. There we go. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think it's also a part of me, if I'm truly honest, it's a part of me that people sometimes say, like, I can hear it in my head, like when I want to do something or I feel like doing something, just to try it or just to be crazy or, I don't know, experimental. I can hear people in my head say, don't do that, or like, don't, you'll ruin it, or they start to panic or freak out that I'm going to ruin it. And for some reason that just eggs me on to do it. So I don't know what part of my personality that reveals to you. But it's obviously not a great thing. Is it for shock value? I don't know. I'm not really looking to be diagnosed with anything. I don't know. I'm a bit of a tease, like I'm a bit of a stirrer, personality-wise. Like I don't know, I think I enjoy that reaction. Not negatively, like not if there are any actual real consequences, but in art sometimes, I mean, I'll go and scan it a lot of the times because I really don't want people to be too upset. But even when I'll go and like splatter paint over everything, or I'll teach that in a class, it's mostly because I feel like it's a great way to stop feeling like everything's so precious. And I would never have done it before. Like honestly, I think it's probably not a new thing, but I definitely didn't used to be like that. I'd be mortified if I went and threw paint at something, you know, years ago. I'd wonder why I felt the need to ruin it. Now I feel like it's just a part of the process, I guess. And so I'm going to do it now. There you go. She ate something blue, and now it's leaking everywhere. I want the pink too. The pink and the blues could make it purple. She can have that here. She had something purple. And it's going to take too long to dry if I really leave it there, so I'm going to grab a piece of paper towel. And I'm not going to blot it, but I'm actually just going to soak up the puddle. There you go. So it'll kind of leak into the paper towel and absorb itself. So I just pat it on top and soak up any of the excess water. Usually the watercolor will stain the paper, so you can just pick up the droplet of water. And that way you don't have to worry about it taking forever to dry or avoiding it as you go around the page. I think I want to use that Lamy Joy again. As soon as I've soaked up all this water. There we go, I think that's good. It feels a little scratchy sometimes, but I think I'll be okay with that. I'm going to outline sections that are empty. So white parts of the page, I'm going to outline them. It's like fussy cutting, but instead of using scissors, you just draw it where you would cut it if you were cutting it out. There we go. And just there. And then I'm going to use my brush pen, my water brush, to pull that ink in and fill it in. Again, that's more of those, like that direction, the motivational type stuff. There's no real thought behind why I just did that. That's just what I felt like doing. And it's not the first time I've done it. Like, I know it's an odd thing to do, but it's actually a part of a technique that I've taught before on how to finish journal pages. This is a very random way to do it, but the actual technique that uses the same idea was a part of my travel journal course. So it's already in my head, I guess, is the point. I don't think you should give it too much thought, as though like, well, how does he have these random thoughts that turn into stuff like that? They're not really that random, really. Like, I've done it before. Mostly everything I do, I've done it before. It's just happening in a way that isn't as refined or as carefully planned as I've done it before. And so the results can look a little bit more abstract and more wonky. But if I search for where it really came from, you know, it's mostly all been done before in some way. I really like the red stripes. Red, black, and white stripes, very Tim Burton. I expected my influence to be a little bit more Halloween at this point, but I guess nothing's really coming up. I'm going to draw a pumpkin because, I just thought about it, obviously. I'm going to draw the top of a pumpkin. With ears. And I can't tell you why, but I'll let you think about why I just drew that. The journal I'm using is a Strathmore mixed media journal, so I should mention those things, just in case you're curious. My watercolors are a big mix of different brands, so that's kind of hard to share. A lot of them are handmade as well. And the ones that are not are typically Daniel Smith. Just going to wipe off the rest of the paint of my brush into that blank space. Oh, I kind of want to do a full-on metallic corner down here, or just all my specialty colors that I haven't been using as much lately. Oh, I guess our timer is up. I'm going to finish this little corner with all my metallic colors. I would probably still work on this for at least another 30 minutes, especially because now I'm really filling up the page and I'm getting a lot of motivation to start picking up the pace and using lots of different mediums. Like, I'm really in a state to keep going, but I will respect my time that I've set aside today and just finish this up. I hope you had a good time with me. I'm just mixing some more of these specialty colors up. If you journaled along and you feel like sharing some of your stream of consciousness, you can tag me on Instagram so I can have a look. And do some of these squares as well. Go. And at the very least, hopefully you feel like getting your journal out and having a bit of a play, even if you're just popping some stickers down. I think that'd be a great thing to do today. Copper eye. So pretty. I want whiskers on that one. Bianca's snoring. It made me think of cats. So she gets cat whiskers. Okay. Oh, this kind of looks like a banana earring. I'm going to connect it so it looks like an earring. Alright, I do have to stop now. Thank you so much for being with me today. I know I was a little bit more quiet and a little bit more peaceful and reserved. I feel my energy picking up now, and especially because I'll be heading out to Zumba soon. That's a good thing. But I hope you enjoyed that stream of consciousness. I'll be back for another YouTube video next week. Until then, be happy, enjoy your journaling, and I'll see you around. Bye.